Okay, so this next drawing you're going to do, this is going to be using the revolve command. The revolve command is a new command, and the way we're going to start the revolve command here is we're going to draw a 2D just set of lines, and then we'll do our next steps with that. Alright, so to start off with here, on the bottom, we're going to draw any specific sizes in just a minute here. Alright, so let's continue this at a stop some of you from making silly noises out in the classroom. Alright, so now let's go here. We're going to use the line command and get started with this. I'm not going to draw anything to any specific scale. So what we're going to do is we're going to come across on the bottom just for a little bit, using my polar, making sure I have a straight line. Then I'm going to come up here at a 45-degree angle. If you don't have your polar set to 45, remember you can always go down there and pick your 45-degree increment for your polar. But I'm going to draw my line next with that at my 45-degree angle. And again, just up a ways. We're not going to draw anything in any specific sizes here on this. So up to there, and then now straight up. So kind of that little bracket-looking line there goes over to look like a little bracket maybe. And then we're going to add a thickness to this. Again, none of this has to be too precise or perfect. We're going to come over there a little ways, about there. And we're going to try to make this thing about the similar thickness all the way through. So we're going to come down about here, back down at my 45-degree angle, back over and across. Now on this one, I do want this to end perfectly there, so track that if you need to do that. And then bring your line down there. So just there's my object I drew. This approximately the same thickness, this approximately the same thickness, and this approximately the same thickness. Does not have to be anything exact. Then next you're going to draw a circle. I'm going to start my circle here at the midpoint of that line. And I'm going to draw my circle out here. Again, nothing too perfect on this circle. The biggest thing with it is that it cannot overlap that bottom line like that. Up there somewhere in this range for that circle. Really not too concerned with the exact size of that circle. So I'm going to click there. And then we're going to trim this thing out a little bit. So we're going to trim that, and that. And that's the little drawing that we're left with. We're going to be using the revolve command on this in just a little bit. Before we revolve, we do want to make this as a solid. So first we're going to region this object together. And we have it all in the region. We can see that better, as you know, if we put that on a conceptual view. I'm going to turn off my grid because I just don't like the look of that. Then from here, I am going to make a copy of this. And I'm going to leave some space in between these. We'll move them a little bit tighter together here once we're all done, but I'm going to leave some space in between them. One to there, one to over there, one to maybe there, and one to there. To make a grand total of 5 of those objects. Alright, first one we're going to look at is this one here. So for revolve, what revolve does is it takes a 2D plane that we have there. So we made that thing 2D. We region it together. It takes your 2D region, and it's going to revolve it around a center axis and make that as a solid object. So we're going to go REV for revolve. We're going to pick this object. And now the next question it asks me is the center point, the start point of the axis that I'm going to revolve around. Well, on this first one, I'm just going to pick this side here on the left, there. I'm going to come straight down with it, and I'm going to revolve that. I'm just going to hit enter. The enter will accept the 360 degrees, so it goes all the way around. So I'm going to hit enter there. And now I'm going to twist this up a little bit in 3D and see what I've got. And I've got that interesting little shape there. It looks kind of like a bowl. Now one thing I did kind of forget here. I don't know why I did this. I did this the other day when I did the video. I started drawing all this in the top view. This should have been drawn in the front view. So this should be the front view of this. So I'm going to select all of those. I'm going to go Control C. I'm going to change this to my front view. And I'm going to go to Control V and paste those in there. So now this is the front view name. This is the front view of the object. So I'm going to just erase out those other objects. Now it makes it a little bit easier for me to twist this up and see. Alright, there's my little bowl looking thing. So it gives me a neat little shape there, a little contour with that, revolving that. Alright, so I'm going to go back here looking on my front view of this. Alright, the second one, I'm going to revolve it also. Now on this one I'm going to do it a little bit differently. The other one I put my axis to revolve around right here on the object. On this one I'm going to pick it over here a little ways. I'm just going to, doesn't need to be anything specific. I'm going to come over here from the object a little bit away from it and put my center line to revolve around out here. Now what that's going to do when I revolve it's going to make something very similar, but since there's that extra void there in the middle, it's going to make a hole in the middle of the object. Depending on how far over I went, would make the hole either bigger or smaller. So there's that one. Okay. Next, we're going to look at this next one to revolve. I'm going to go revolve again. Alright. Very similar to the previous one. This time I'm going to pick a point over here to the side a little bit, there. But this time, instead of coming straight down for my revolution, I'm going to come at an angle. Something like this. Oh, out there. You know, why not? Let's just come out there at a 45-degree angle. We're going to hit enter there. And notice what that does. It makes me, again, a hole through the middle of it, but makes me somewhat of an interesting shaped piece, looking very different just by picking that axis at a different place. So obviously, where you pick that axis is a very important part of this. Alright, I'm going to go back here to my front view and look again here. So we're going to go revolve one more time on this object. This one I'm going to pick my axis kind of a totally different spot. I'm going to pick it up here on this portion of it. So I'm going to pick it there as my first point. Second point, I'm going to come straight to the left and hit enter and revolve. And now you can kind of see, again, how the same drawing will give you very different outcomes just by where you're picking up the starting axis. Okay. On this last one, revolve one more time. Now, on this one, I'm going to do something just a little bit different here. I'm going to pick my axis right down there on this corner. And I'm going to bring it across, let's say, straight over here. Now, with this one, when I try to revolve, it won't work. I'm unable to revolve the object. The reason for that is because my revolution is going to overlap on itself, and it won't let you do that. So, you can't revolve this one, from any of these points in this direction or anything else like that, because that's going to overlap over itself. If I did pick this as a start point, I could, however, go across this way and revolve this. And this time, instead of hitting enter and revolving it all the way, we can also revolve it a partial part. So let's say we want to revolve this 3/4 of the way around. I'm going to type in the number 270, which is 3/4 of a circle, and hit enter. And it looks pretty normal there, but now when I twist this up and look at it, you'll see the 1/4 of it is missing. That's kind of like the 1/4 cross-section that we did before. We kind of created a cross-section there of this that we did in the isometric drawings. So there that is, there. Alright, last thing to finish this drawing up. We're going to go back here to our front view. Things are kind of all different angles and everything else here. I'm going to get these rotated around so it looks kind of normal. So this one, I'm just going to pick my base point there at the center of it there on the bottom and rotate that up to there. I did it 45 degrees before, so it goes right there. And I'm going to move that down so it lines up with my other ones. This one, same thing. I revolve it, or rotate it, sorry, not revolve. Rotate it from that bottom point. Oops, I won't move it, so I rotate it. Try that again. Rotate this one from that bottom point, straight up like so. Move that one down there. On this last one, pick that bottom point again. I might move it, so rotate. Change my command. Rotate there. And just spin kind of like this little goblet there or something. And move that one down and around. That there. So I got all those there in a nice line. I'm going to go to my top view. Click on my corner to make that into the southwest isometric, or southeast isometric, sorry. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm trying to visualize here. Honestly, to make this a little bit better upload, what would be better yet, let's go back to our top view one more time. And let's move these two kind of down here in the front, something like this. Actually, maybe we'll move all three of these, since all three of these are a little smaller. Move all three of those down to maybe about there. Now let's put that in an isometric view. I think that there looks a lot better. I can see these a lot better and see them. We'll zoom in tight on those. We'll save that in your practice folder, and we'll save that as revolve in your practice folder. And you can go ahead and do your snipping of that, and that'll be great. Alright. Okay, so the next drawing you're going to do on your own is a drawing that looks somewhat similar to this. It is on page 585 in your Applying AutoCAD book. It is called Figure 4414 or 4415, depending on which view you're looking at. Whether you're looking at 2D view or the revolve view. What you're going to do is you're going to complete your 2D drawing, just as it shows in the book, to all the dimensions they show in the book. Now again, this is just my quick example. I did not take time to draw this to the correct size and shape, so this does not match your drawing from the book. You can take your dimensions from your book. On this one, pretty straightforward the way you're going to do it. You would region this object together once it's all done. You can turn it here on the conceptual view. The only thing that's going to be a little bit different with this is once you revolve it, you're going to revolve both of those objects, the circle and that other odd-shaped piece. This one does not revolve around all the way. It only revolves half the circle, so you're going to revolve at 180. And I am drawing this from the front view. And then, let's twist this up and take a look at it. The only thing that's going to be a little bit different with this one is you're going to have to subtract out that middle portion of it. So here I change this to 2 different colors. There. And possibly there. And then just subtract out that same portion of it. And there it is. It has this hollow hole that goes through it in there. And that's it. That's the simplest what that next one is. So again, that was page 585, figure 4414, and you should be able to pretty much do that one on your own. And again, save this in your activity folder. You'll save it as figure 4414, and you will